Greetings, this is Carrie Benjamin, and I'm here to discuss how applying Rogers' diffusions of innovation and Kotter's 8-step change models can be used to strengthen leadership adoption of daily engagement systems across the 6-step innovation lifecycle. This presentation examines an innovation challenge within healthcare operations, inconsistent leadership engagement in the daily engagement system, or DES. I will analyze 2 alternative solutions for improving sustained DES adoption across healthcare units. Innovation as a leadership-centered strategy will improve sustained adoption and effectiveness of the daily engagement system rather than DES itself. The daily engagement system is designed to improve communication, accountability, and frontline problem solving. However, adoption varies significantly across units. My research found that leadership engagement, particularly among middle managers, strongly influences whether DES becomes a meaningful management system or simply a compliance exercise. The problem is a leadership behavior gap for enabling conditions, not a gap of the DES method itself. The board comparison is used as a visual metaphor for variation in adoption quality. This presentation treats leadership adoption of DES as an innovation to be strengthened. Rogers identified 5 characteristics that influence adoption. In my healthcare setting, leaders directly influence how staff perceive the value of DES, whether it fits local culture, how difficult it appears, opportunities to experiment, and whether results are visible. These perceptions determine adoption success. While Rogers explains why adoption varies, Kotter's model provides a structured framework for generating and implementing alternative solutions. Kotter is particularly useful because my problem of practice is fundamentally a leadership and change management challenge. Leaders must shape behavior, culture, and accountability to sustain DES. The 6-step innovation life cycle provides a framework for examining how alternative solutions support innovation from problem identification through implementation. I will compare 2 leadership-focused alternatives across all 6 stages. Identifying the problem using frontline data insights to uncover gaps and pain points. Identifying process, mapping current state, identifying root causes, benchmarking best practices. Engaging others, involving the right stakeholders early, building awareness and buy-in, leveraging champions and opinion leaders. Empowering groups, providing training, clarifying roles, and removing barriers to adoption. Evaluating and prioritizing, measuring outcomes and process results. Prioritize opportunities, and adjust and refine based on feedback and learning. And then rolling out the solution with a clear plan, monitoring adoption and performance, celebrating wins and successes, sustain and scale what works. You can see that our guiding principles are patient-centered focus, transparency and trust, collaboration and respect, learning mindset, and adaptability with resilience. The first alternative solution is a structured leadership accountability system. This solution emphasizes standardization, accountability, and visible routines. This approach establishes leader standard work, DES audits, and executive review processes, along with clear performance expectations. The goal is to increase consistency and visibility of leadership engagement. The second alternative solution creates a leadership coaching and learning collaborative. Managers participate in peer coaching, learning communities, DES best practice sharing, and leadership development. This model focuses on culture, capability, and learning rather than compliance alone. It intentionally develops leaders through coaching, peer learning, and visible examples that make DES easier to try, adapt, and sustain. Both alternatives support the innovation lifecycle. However, they operate differently. The accountability model emphasizes structure and monitoring, while the coaching model emphasizes learning, engagement, and capability development. Both can improve DES adoption, but the mechanisms differ. You can see through the different life cycle stages, but the accountability solution differs from the coaching collaborative. In order to identify the problem, the accountability system uses audits and adoption data. This is really helpful in the beginning while rolling out such a system. But as the organization moves through the journey of DES adoption, it's really important to begin emphasizing coaching and collaboration model, which includes leadership feedback to identify confidence, skills, and support needed. To identify processes and standardize expected leadership behaviors, you need an accountability system. But coaching and collaboration builds a repeatable coaching and peer learning process. In order to engage others, you need reporting systems and escalation pathways. UCSD Health has a tiered pathway that helps escalate issues as needed across the system and up the leadership chain. The coaching and collaboration invites managers to learn from networks and begin to engage with each other in a shared ownership. If you're empowering groups, the accountability system clarifies who is responsible for the huddle and goal deployment and address barriers and follow-up. The coaching and collaboration model builds capability to coach teams who are closest to the work to brainstorm solutions and remove barriers. If you want to evaluate and prioritize, the accountability system will measure compliance, the DES board health, and follow through on action items or goal achievement. Coaching and collaboration employs reflection, coaching data, and visible examples to adapt. For implementation, I think the accountability system is a really great start. There's enforcement, consistency, and role clarity. As organizations move along their journey of daily engagement system maturity, the coaching and collaboration model will sustain culture throughout leadership practice and peer reinforcement as it becomes more important for team engagement. Both alternatives support the life cycle, but coaching and collaboration best addresses Rogers' adoption factors because it reduces complexity and makes success observable through peer learning. Rogers' principle of observability suggests that visible results increase innovation adoption. These examples illustrate how leadership engagement influences DES effectiveness. The strong board demonstrates active problem solving and accountability, while the weak board suggests superficial compliance, does not track priorities, communication, or engagement. DES adoption is visible in leadership practice and engagement with those closest to the work. It is not just simply a board on the wall with outdated information. It's a living, breathing system that supports our team members doing their best work. The Leadership Coaching Collaborative aligns strongly with Kotter's framework because it creates urgency, builds coalitions, develops capability, and anchors the change in culture. These elements address the root cause identified in the problem of practice, inconsistent leadership behaviors. The preferred solution maps Kotter's 8 steps. Coaching translates abstract change management into daily leader behavior. The future state DES ecosystem illustrates how innovation becomes sustainable when leadership systems, tiered communication, visual management, and frontline engagement work together. Executive leaders, directors, managers, and frontline teams are connected through tiered huddles that promote alignment and rapid escalation of barriers. Visual huddles that promote alignment and rapid escalation make performance and improvement opportunities observable, while continuous improvement cycles support learning and adoption. This integrated approach aligns with Rogers' diffusions of innovation theory, which supports an accountability infrastructure, with Kotter's focus on leadership-driven change that builds durable commitment throughout the implementation stage of the 6-step innovation lifecycle. When these elements operate as a connected system, DES becomes embedded in organizational culture rather than remaining a compliance activity. Although both alternatives can improve DES adoption, I recommend leadership coaching and learning collaborative as teams move through their DES implementation journey. This solution addresses the behavioral and cultural factors highlighted in Rogers' Diffusions of Innovations theory and implements Kotter's change model to adapt to the maturity gained through increased effective communication and promotes long-term sustainability through leader development rather than compliance alone. Here are the references for this presentation.